The night 12-year-old Emily Carter vanished, the entire town of North Pines froze in fear, clinging to the hope that she would somehow be found alive, for 7 long days. Officers searched the woods, drained creeks, questioned neighbors, and reviewed every second of camera footage. But nothing, absolutely nothing, hinted at where she had gone. Until the morning of the 8th day, when a jogger stopped on a quiet suburban street, staring at something lying neatly on a stranger's front porch. It was Emily's backpack, clean, zipped, and placed almost respectfully, as if someone wanted it to be found. But the strange part was that the house it appeared had belonged to a retired couple who had no connection to the girl, no reason to be involved, and no idea how her belongings ended up outside their door as detectives rushed to the scene. Neighbors whispered behind their curtains, and Emily's parents arrived trembling, praying this wasn't the sign they feared. But when investigators opened the backpack and discovered what was inside, new scratches, a folded map, and a note that didn't match Emily's handwriting, they realized the case wasn't simply about a missing girl anymore. Someone had been watching, someone knew much more than they were saying, and someone wanted the investigation to go in a very specific direction. The morning the backpack appeared was the first time the entire town froze in collective disbelief. 7 days had already passed since 12-year-old Emma Hart vanished on her way home from school, leaving behind nothing but a trail of questions, a grieving family, and a search effort growing more desperate by the hour. Everyone had feared the worst. Leads had dried up, witnesses contradicted one another, and the security cameras showed only a blur of movement: Emma walking past a gas station and then nothing. Search dogs lost her scent at the edge of Miller Woods. Detectives had scoured the woods for days, volunteers combing every trail, every fallen tree, every shed, every creekside. But Emma wasn't there. Not a shoe, not a hair ribbon, not even the slightest piece of clothing to prove she had passed through. But on the 7th morning, just as hope began to shrink into resignation, a jogger found something at the old river bridge miles away from where the girl was last seen. A backpack. Not tossed, not thrown, not dirty from being dragged by water or mud, but sitting upright, placed deliberately, as if someone wanted it to be found. Detective Rowan Hale was among the first officers on scene. He moved slowly, almost reverently, toward the blue and purple backpack Emma's mother had described in tearful detail. The bag was dry, clean, untouched by rain or morning dew, which was impossible because for the last 2 nights, heavy rain had flooded the riverbank. But the backpack looked as if it had been placed there moments ago. Rowan crouched down. His gloved fingers brushed the zipper. Something felt wrong the moment he touched it. The bag wasn't heavy. Emma had carried her books everywhere. This felt empty. He opened it. Inside lay Emma's sketch. Second day of Mia's disappearance began with a kind of silence that didn't belong to a neighborhood. It wasn't just quiet, it was hollow, like the world was waiting for something to happen. Officers were still scattered around the block, residents lining fences. Children pulled inside by nervous parents. Claire stood outside her house, gripping her jacket tightly as if holding herself together. She hadn't slept, she couldn't. Every second felt stolen, like time itself was mocking them for losing her child. Detective Harris approached, his expression exhausted but determined. "We're expanding the search radius," he told her softly. "Woodland trails, riverbank, old construction sites. We're not stopping." Claire nodded mechanically, her throat too tight to speak. It had only been 24 hours. But she felt as if she'd aged years. Volunteers poured in, friends, neighbors, even strangers who had only seen Mia's photo online. They moved through the forest in lines, calling her name, checking under fallen branches, abandoned sheds, ravines, anywhere a frightened little girl might hide or be left. Claire walked in the center of it all, whispering prayers under her breath, "Please answer me. Baby, please," around noon. An officer radioed in they'd found small footprints near the river trail matching Mia's shoe size. Claire rushed there, heart pounding with hope and dread violently colliding. The prints were fresh, but not fresh enough. Rain the night before had partially washed them out. Something about them felt off, like she hadn't been walking alone. Another set of prints followed. Beside her, larger, deeper, adult-sized, Claire stared at them with a shaking jaw. Who was with her? She whispered, tears burning her eyes. Search dogs were brought in. They picked up her scent briefly, then it suddenly vanished at a dirt road leading deeper into the forest. That was the moment panic intensified. Scent disappearing meant only two things: she entered water. Or a vehicle. Detective Harris's expression tightened. "We need security footage from every road entering or exiting the forest." Claire felt her knees weaken. The idea of Mia crying for her, calling her name, trapped in a moving car, it shattered her. By evening, the forest search produced no new clues. But around 7 p.m., a resident reported something chilling. A man in a grey hoodie had been seen walking alone near the school the day Mia disappeared, watching children. The witness hadn't thought much of it at the time, but after hearing of the missing girl, she felt sick remembering how he'd stood there, unmoving, observing silently. Claire's hands trembled as she listened. Was Mia targeted, taken, or had she followed someone she thought she knew? As night fell again, search teams were ordered back for safety. Though many refused to stop, Claire sat on the curb, staring at the forest line disappearing into darkness. Every shadow looked like danger, every rustle sounded like a whisper of her daughter's voice. Detective Harris approached again. "We're not giving up," he promised. His voice was steady, but his eyes carried the same fear she felt. Something terrible was happening, something methodical, something they weren't seeing clearly yet. Claire clutched Mia's scarf in her hands, pressing it against her face, breathing in the faint scent of her daughter's shampoo. "Please," she whispered into the fabric. "Please come home to me." And somewhere, deep in the woods or far beyond them, Mia remained silent. On the third morning, investigators gathered at the precinct to review newly retrieved security footage from cabins, gas stations, and roadside traffic cams. Claire was invited to join, though every frame threatened to break her. She watched screen after screen of cars passing, families traveling, delivery trucks, cyclists, nothing unusual. Until one clip captured at 6:22 p.m. the evening, Mia vanished showed a dark SUV slowing near the forest edge, hazard lights blinking briefly before the vehicle turned sharply and sped away. Harris replayed it multiple times. Wrong kind of stop. Wrong place, wrong time, Claire choked out. Could she be in that car? "We're checking the plates now," he said, though his tense expression suggested uncertainty. Meanwhile, volunteers scoured areas farther from the original search zone. They found a ribbon pink with white stars, the same ribbon Mia wore in her hair during school events. It lay tangled on a thorny bush. Fresh. Recent. Placed. Claire refused to believe it had blown there naturally. She sank to her knees, holding the ribbon like a fragile piece of her daughter's soul. The find reignited the search teams with fierce determination. Drones surveyed distances no human could cover quickly. Dogs were brought back. Officers split into groups targeting new terrain. The forest felt darker now, as though hiding secrets behind every twisting branch. Around midday, a woman reported a strange encounter. She'd heard a child's voice crying near the old quarry the previous night. At first she thought it was an animal, but now she wasn't sure. The quarry was dangerous, steep drops, hidden pits, abandoned machinery. Claire's heart pounded in terror. They rushed there immediately. The quarry was enormous, littered with rusted metal scraps, old tires, and forgotten equipment. Echoes bounced unnervingly. The team divided, calling Mia's name. Claire's voice cracked with every shout. But the deeper they explored, the more Claire felt something wasn't right. A child wouldn't wander here unless she was brought. Near one rock wall, Harris noticed disturbed gravel. Footprints, fresh, small. Mia, Claire screamed, voice echoing painfully, but no answer came. Instead, they found something else, a small stuffed bunamuddy, torn, but unmistakably Mia's favourite bedtime toy. Claire collapsed. Why would she have this? Why would it be here? Harris knelt beside her. Claire, this doesn't feel like a runaway case anymore. Someone is moving her. Setting trails, leaving clues. It's almost like they want to be found, Claire finished in a whisper. Or worse, like they wanted to play with them. As dusk fell, the temperature dropped and fog rolled in. The quarry became a maze of shadows. Search teams pushed farther until radio static interrupted. One officer had spotted movement near the northern ridge. Claire ran faster than she thought possible, her lungs burning. But when they arrived, they found no child, only a single blue light stick glowing softly on the ground, Mia's. She carried them on night walks so she wouldn't be scared of the dark. Claire felt her chest tighten. She's been here recently, but the question chilled everyone present. Why was she being led through dangerous terrain, and who was guiding her? By the fourth day, fear turned into something sharper, desperation mixed with anger. Claire refused to rest. Her steps were slow but relentless, fueled by a mother's instinct that her daughter was still somewhere alive, trapped, waiting. Investigators, now working with state authorities, mapped all the items found so far: the footprints near the river, the ribbon, the stuffed bunny, the glow stick. A disturbing pattern emerged. They formed a winding trail, almost deliberate. She's being moved in circles, Harris concluded. Someone knows the terrain well. Someone confident, maybe local. Claire's breath trembled. Why would someone do this? Harris didn't answer. Later that afternoon, a breakthrough arrived. A ranger found tire tracks near an isolated hunting cabin 2 miles from the quarry. The tracks matched the dark SUV from the footage. Claire felt the world tilt. Mia could be inside. She could be steps away. Officers, guns drawn, approached the cabin cautiously. Claire waited behind with trembling hands. When Harris signaled the all clear, Claire rushed in, heart shattering at the sight. A small blanket on the floor, half-eaten crackers, a tiny water bottle. Items belonging to Mia. She had been there hours ago, maybe less, but the cabin was empty. Then Claire noticed something chilling carved into the wooden wall. She's stronger than you think. Her blood ran cold. This wasn't random. This was personal. A search of the cabin revealed hair strands matching Mia's and a torn piece of grey hoodie fabric. Remembering the neighbourhood citing the man watching children, Claire's heart stuttered. The kidnapper was mocking them, testing them, enjoying the chase. With urgency, officers followed fresh tracks leading away from the cabin toward the eastern woods. But halfway along the path, they found something no one expected: Mia's small backpack, placed neatly atop a rock. Unzipped, empty. As if deliberately staged. Claire's trembling hands traced its edges. Why put this here? Harris exhaled shakily. Because we're close. And he knows it, But then a horrifying realization struck them. The tracks split into two separate trails, both leading into dense, shadowed terrain. "One is real," Harris said. "One is a decoy," Claire's voice broke. "And if we choose wrong, we won't," he assured. Though doubt flickered in his eyes, a K9 unit was brought in. The dog sniffed both paths, hesitated, then pulled sharply toward the steeper, narrower trail. Officers advanced carefully, but evening shadows swallowed visibility quickly. The deeper they walked, the quieter the forest grew, unnervingly quiet. Then, a faint sound, a whimper, soft, fragile, like a child trying not to cry. Claire broke into a sprint despite Harris calling after her. He stumbled down a slope, branches scraping her arms. At the bottom, in the fading light, she saw a small figure huddled beside a fallen tree, tiny shoulders shaking. "Mia!" Claire screamed, collapsing around her daughter in sobs. Mia clung to her, trembling violently. "Mum, he told me not to scream. He said he'd come back." Claire froze. "Who, baby? Who?" But before Mia could answer, a twig snapped behind them. They weren't alone. As the final pieces of the story unfold, the camera slowly pulls back from the creek bed where Lily's backpack was found, letting the sound of water and distant wind fade into an uneasy silence. We return to the same quiet neighborhood where everything began, porch lights glowing softly, fences unmoved, the same streets Lily once rode her bike on, now carrying the weight of a mystery that has refused to die. Her parents still keep that porch light on every night. They say it helps them feel like she might walk back home someday. Inside their living room, her mother still folds the same blanket Lily used to carry, and her father still checks the front door before bed, whispering a promise that he'll never stop searching. Police, too, continue to revisit the case. Every year on the anniversary of Lily's disappearance, they reopen old notes, re-watch drone footage, re-inspect the forest logs, hoping something overlooked might suddenly make sense. But even now, that one impossible detail remains the case's deepest wound: how a backpack could appear perfectly dry after sitting in a forest that experienced nearly a week of rain. How the zipper could show no mud, no moss, no signs of being outdoors. How her workbook pages, most importantly, still smelled faintly of laundry detergent, like it had been taken straight from her room. These aren't the details investigators like to talk about publicly, but they're the ones that keep them awake at night. Some locals believe someone kept the backpack, waiting for the search to die down before placing it where it would be found. Others think Lily may have been closer to home than anyone realized, maybe even passing near that forest trail long after the timeline suggested she couldn't be alive. And then there are those who whisper about the witness who reported seeing a small figure, wearing a too large hood, walking along the old service road on the fourth night, moving slowly, as if exhausted. Police could never confirm it, but they also never ruled it out. The story ends the same way it began, with a girl loved by an entire community, whose absence still reshapes the air around her. Her friends, now older, still leave chalk drawings near her school's playground. Her younger sister ties ribbons around the maple tree in their yard. And the town, no matter how much time has passed, still treats Lily's case not as a cold file, but a living wound. So as we close this video, remember, someone out there knows something. Someone saw something. And cases like Lily's don't stay solved. Because of luck they find answers, because people refuse to let them fade away. If you want more deep dive true crime investigations like this, make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell icon, and stay with us as we explore mysteries that still need voices, still need eyes, and still need the truth to come forward. Your support helps us keep these stories alive, and sometimes that's what leads to the breakthrough no one expects.